Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A, the UBports Foundation's show discussing the development of Ubuntu Touch and our community's questions. This is episode 107, streamed live on August 28th, 2021. Don't look at that. I didn't just look down to my clock real quick to see what day it was. My name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Alfred.
Hello.
Florian.
Hello.
And Marius.
Hello.
That was the worst paradiddle I've ever done with my mouse. I apologize. Hey, Marius. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's nice to talk to you again, you know?
It's good to
Every
be
once
back.
in a while.
It is good to be back.
Let's get loud, says the chat. Yeah, let's get loud. Twitter's notified. Okay, let's not get loud because they're coming in now. Hey, if you like what we're talking about during this thing and you want to see if your device is supported by Ubuntu Touch because you want to try it out, go head over to devices.ubuntu-touch.io. If your device isn't there, it's going to need a custom image made for it. And you can find out how to do that over at docs.ubports.com/porting. It's got a new theme. It's got a new completely revamped porting documentation. I can't believe you haven't been there since these things happened. What are you doing? Come on. I expect better from you, audience. Do whatever you want. You're cool. So, we've got a great roundup of news and questions today. So, why don't we just get right into it? Why don't we? So, this week, this might be the cutest app I've ever seen. Matteo Salta has made our app roundup again. And on the dock this week includes The Hacker Newsreader by David Ventura, who has been frequenting our app development group for sure, and has been making a lot of progress on this app. So you can read and upvote, but not submit yet, unfortunately, things to Hacker News on the Y Combinator site. It looks really nice. It looks like the web version, but it's QML and it's fast, and you can upvote stuff, which is always the best because who needs the downvote button? That's what I thought. I'm going to be excited to see it progress. It looks really nice. And then we have this really, really cute application by Francesco, which is a speed test app, where if you run the speed test, I'm not going to do it right now because it will kill my internet connection. You get to see a cute cat walking, and it goes through the rain, and then it gets better because it's sunny out, and it shows you your download speed. And this might just be the best speed test app I've ever seen because of this. I have 20.33 megabits per second right now, download. And my upload is 1.59. It is amazing I'm able to do things like this sometimes.
Your internet speed is good.
Yeah, it's real good. There are also some new apps from Pure Tulane, who has made various math calculations like a binary calculator, a prime number checker, finding the greatest or lowest common denominator of a number. And these are all just simple applications that are in the store, and they do one thing, they do it well. They've got icons that let you differentiate between them, and you can see Florian is now starting a speed test. But don't show them the whole thing. They got to download it for themselves, Florian. You're going to ruin the surprise.
Yeah, Florian.
Oh,
Speaking
no, that's really nice.
Isn't it? Speaking of surprises, I've been moonlighting on another podcast. So if you want to check out Late Night Linux Extra, episode 28 or 29 has been recorded and should be released on Monday. You can head over to latenightlinux.com. We talked about being sad because all of the platforms, you can run any app on any platform now with, the desktop platforms. And we talked about being sad because Linux hardware isn't as good as the M1. But it was a great episode, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
Well, the M1 is maybe coming to Linux soon enough.
Yeah, I saw some of the news on that. It's looking pretty cool. There's no hardware acceleration yet, but that's to be expected.
True. But it's
pretty
coming
cool that
along
Apple...
very nicely.
It's pretty cool that Apple didn't care about locking the thing down. I do like that.
I mean, maybe they don't want it. Maybe they want to sell more devices.
I don't think it's going to be that many, but, it's just, oh well. Like at
I
some
mean-
point during the development, they asked, "Do we want to lock this thing down?" And it was either no, that'll cost too much, or no, we shouldn't do that. We'll get sued or something like that. But it's an interesting development. We'll see what happens with the M1X and M2.
Maybe they just have
Anyway.
a good heart. Maybe they just have a good heart and say, "Hey, we want to support the Linux guys."
No.
Okay, maybe not.
So if you have a good heart and you would like to help work with the UBports Foundation, we're looking for members of our board of trustees. And you can figure out how to join that over on our blog. I will have the link to that in the video description. You can become a member of the board of trustees, which allows you to vote in elections for the membership committee and the board of directors. And it also makes you eligible to become a member of the board of directors or the membership committee. So I highly recommend you check out how to become a member of that if you've contributed to UBports for at least 3 months, and you expect to do so for at least 6 months after your application. We'd love to have you in the foundation. I apologize to anyone who has applied in the past weekish. I haven't gotten to your emails yet, but I will.
2004, where is it?
Yeah, where is it, right? Some pretty cool stuff has been happening in the Ubuntu Touch based on Ubuntu 2004 land. One of which is pretty exciting for not only... It's especially exciting for us because it means less maintenance work for us. It is the Ubuntu keyboard and Malit. So, let me tell you a story, young man.
I don't know.
After Canonical dropped Ubuntu Touch, the people who made the Malit keyboard said, "Oh, those changes look good. Let's take all of those, as it was in 2016, 17, and we're going to fork all those changes. We're going to bring them in. We're going to make them build on top of a couple distributions, test them out, and release this as Malit 2. Okay. Over the time from then, guess what's happened? We've continued developing Ubuntu Touch, including the Ubuntu keyboard, which means that Malit went this way, Ubuntu keyboard went this way, and now Rodney is working to bring the two back together.
Now kiss.
Yeah, right? This is a very important development because it means that it's easier for us to maintain the keyboard, and it means that other mobile distributions of Linux are going to be getting the better keyboard that has been in Ubuntu Touch that wasn't necessarily merged back into Malit. That includes more language plugins, more ways to do input on the keyboard, and things like that. So pretty cool stuff. It'll be pretty cool for Plasma Mobile too, because it's like, if you've used Plasma Mobile after being an Ubuntu Touch user, you pull up the keyboard, it kind of looks like it looks like Ubuntu keyboard, Lumia keyboard, and then you try to do things you can do on Lumia keyboard and they just don't work. It's like, I forgot about this. So that's going to be getting fixed soon. There is also some work on building the root file system for the focal images, which will make it possible for us to ship the thing, which is very important. And I set out a list of constraints for this one because right now it requires root access in order to build a root file system, because you have to be root to do things like that. So I thought, I'm going to find a way to do this that doesn't involve getting root on the box. We're using an image generator called Debos. And Debos is great, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise, because it's really good software and I like it. But the way Debos does things is a little weird. It runs a virtual machine to build your root file system in. And apparently it's actually really hard to run a virtual machine when you aren't root, when you're also trying to do it in Docker, because why wouldn't we try to do it inside a container too, just to make things more difficult? Because we don't want to build Debos on the host machine. So, 3 days later, and a lot of trying of different, it's got like user mode Linux, which if you were around Linux in like 2004, that was a big deal. You can use user mode Linux for it, but then I realized that you can't make ARM images with user mode Linux in Debos. So I had to pick something else. And then I realized that giving Jenkins access to the Docker socket is a bad idea with a capital B and a capital I. So then I found Podman. And if you haven't seen Podman yet, if you're a Docker user and you haven't used Podman yet, what are you doing? Because it's amazing. Podman is what's called a rootless container manager, and it's also a daemonless container manager. So you don't need root on the box to run a container, and you don't need to have this Docker daemon running all the time. You just run Podman whenever you need a container. That's really cool stuff. I like that. And then I realized that the version of Podman in Ubuntu 20.04 is too old. Well, actually, the one in 21.04. So this was just a big deal. I had done a lot of work on it. I'm proud of it. It started working. All of our Halium builds stopped working. It might be related. I'm very worried about that. But we'll figure it out. Only some of them stopped working, actually, which is the weirder part. Okay. Alfred, I've been talking too long. You can talk now.
Oh, okay. So I have been, over the last 2 weeks, working on the Pixel 3a again. And this is, oh my God, I'm so happy about the progress. You might have noticed that I'm very excited about it. The long work is now coming to fruition. And so the road to perfection, as I call it, if you have 2 phones or more, like Dalton, then
the best thing to do with the Pixel 3a is buy 2 of them.
Right, exactly. And so the road to perfection, over the last 2 weeks, I've been working on vibration, making sure that the vibration motor actually works correctly, and that calls do notify you properly. What they did before was they just cut off after a split second, and they wouldn't vibrate as long as you would require to notice them. That's fixed now. I've also fixed the time setting at boot time, so that when you boot up the phone, it actually tells you the correct time. That was a little mismatch in what Halium and the Android container do. Both of them, basically the root file system and the Android container where I want to set the time, and they both conflicted. So that's the second one. The third one is I disabled the IMS services on the port so that when you connect to a carrier, it would not advertise itself as an IMS capable device anymore. And that brings us to the big one. Drum roll.
I did that with the phones.
The big one is SMS and MMS support over 4G for North American users now. It was already working very well on German, European, whatever countries and carriers. And now it's also working very well with the North American, so Canadian and US users should be very happy, or are very happy about it, because I've been testing very hard with them. Shout out to Rick and Saucecat and Rocket to Infinity. Thanks for testing those things. Thanks for helping out wherever they were able to. And one catch though, or 2 catches actually. Please check your APN settings when you try to test MMS. It might require you to manually change the GPRS file that is in var lib ophono, some random number, and then GPRS for now, because setting APNs and changing APNs doesn't work very reliably in most cases. It might be working better in the future after we've tackled that issue. For now, if you can't change it via the GUI, you would have to get your hands dirty and fix it that way. And yeah, you can see it actually. Dalton sends himself an SMS and it works.
And I can send myself more than one of them per reboot. This is very nice.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the big issue with that. So again, that is the first part. What also might work better is if you get a notification to download an MMS and it oopses because it can't do it, just turn off Wi-Fi and try it again. That should be helpful as well. And yeah, what a road, but what a walk.
I enjoy this device. I need to figure out how to move things from my Xperia onto it. But I think I will do that at some point.
I can help you with moving from device to device. I moved already 3 or 4 times in the last 6 years. It was always kind of messy, but at the end of the day, it works.
Yeah, I know. But if everyone else has to suffer with our software, I need to do it too.
Yes. Eat your own dog food, part 500.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
There is no export, is there? That's right. Oh well,
No
I'll figure out a way.
Thanks, Alfred. That's really great news.
I like it. I like the purple one the most. I really like this purple color. It doesn't show up on camera because exposure, but I like the purple color. Don't like the purple's one screen because I bought it from iFixit. Don't buy replacement screens for the Pixel 3a from iFixit. It's a bad idea. They're really bad. There's no saturation. If you turn the brightness down too much, it just basically turns off. Don't do it. This is my review. Yeah. So this is cool. I like this device. Thank you, Alfred.
You're welcome.
In the news of other devices that I also like is the Pine Phone. Look at it. It's fancy. Did somebody say it? I said it. I said Pine Phone. That's a joke no one will get. The Pine Phone has a release candidate image out. If you like the Pine Phone as much as I do, please go to your Pine Phone and switch to the release candidate channel and test out this image to see how it works compared to the stable image. There are new things, such as a workaround for the very good and not at all frustrating modem resetting itself at random points when you wake it up. It's not a fix, it's a workaround, but it works better. I've talked about it on the show before. It is a lot better. Fixes to audio, fixes to headphone jack detection, actually. It's just a better release. It's better than it was before. And it's also much newer, so it has Qt 512. It's been a while since we've released Pine Phone images. Wonder who's responsible for that. Uh-oh. So yeah, test out this RC image. If it's good, it'll ship with OTA 19, all right? I'm counting on you, Pine Phone users. But you know what else runs on the Pine Phone? Postmarket OS. And we have a great community member. His name's Luca, and he's been working on getting a lot of packages from our Focal support into Postmarket OS, because we're doing a lot of work to make them more modern and build on new stuff, which makes his job a lot easier. So most recently, the keyboard has been getting new patches from Luca to work in Postmarket OS. That's pretty cool. I like to see those pull requests. He's very good. He says exactly why things are needed. They're good pull requests. I like them. I pressed the merge button. I didn't press the merge button on these, actually. Marius, you are muted.
I was going to say that I just saw on the Postmarket OS GitLab account, and he updated pretty much all the packages. It seems like, like 10 hours ago.
Oh my gosh!
So he seems to have pulled in a lot of new stuff now.
When does he sleep?
Well, he did rebase, so some of these might not be new commits, but
yeesh, that's really nice though. It's nice to have a fellow good software maintainer.
It is. It's really nice.
Taviston says that they are watching this on their Pixel 3a. Well, I am happy for that.
But it's nice.
It's got widescreen. It's got ultra widescreen. I don't like this aspect.
Wasn't there one unit that you couldn't unlock? Wasn't there something with that, or was it a different phone where you couldn't?
No, that's
unlock?
the Pixel 1. That's over here.
Ah, yeah, true. Sorry for that.
That's
Just
the Pixel
curious.
1. Which is fine. It makes an okay Android device for when you need to bank or whatever.
Why did the
back
Pixel
over
3a like skyrocket in price? It now costs like
I'm sorry.
$1K.
It's Alfred's
costs
fault.
1K.
Everyone's buying them for Ubuntu Touch. That may actually be true. Let's talk about that after this, Marius. Florian, would you like to talk about what's coming up in Ubuntu Touch based on Ubuntu 16.04?
Yeah, well, so we are working hard on the next OTA. OTA 19 is about to arrive. I think we already set it for a time. I don't know. But now really the release candidate is kind of released for testing. I personally want to look into something with trust prompt. So there is no advertisement on the board now, but it will come in the next day. So look out for forums post about testing OTA 19. You can also start testing now. But eventually it could happen that we need another RC, so I don't want to drag people into testing this one until we know that should be the final one. But actually, it could be not as worse as it sounds. Maybe that's already the final RC for OTA19. We will call for testing again the next days. Keep your devices warm and ready and updated and everything, and then we can just start doing this. And it contains a few very important fixes. Also battery performance bug fix for MediaHub, right? And that one particularly was annoying since OTA 18. Yeah, other things like new camera sound. I can just play it here if you like to hear that one. Copyright by Cybersheep, thank you very much. It's not actually copyright his work, but it's copyrighted for cutting someone else's audio clip into the right shape for Ubuntu Touch, so it would sound like that. Oh, you can hear it maybe like this better. It's a real camera shutter now, so it's not a sound of Android that we used before, mostly because of it's not available on higher Android versions in the same place. Somebody had a great idea to just pull that OGG file from system image of Android and play it on Ubuntu Touch side. We moved everything now into the root file system, into our sound effects. More to come. Also thinking about making it switchable so that you can entirely disable those sound effects if you like. Unfortunately, this sound is not available on the PinePhone right now. I'm very sorry. I wanted to fix the PinePhone.
We don't know why.
Well, we know 50% because PinePhone doesn't use Qt Ubuntu Camera, and that's played by that part. We don't know why the screenshot sound doesn't work. That's really weird. That should. So, yeah.
That's weird.
That's my small report for that this week, and yeah, I think we're good otherwise.
Thank you, Florian. It's nice to have someone else looking at this. It's really nice.
I try whenever I can.
At this. All right. Well, speaking of thanking people, why don't we thank the people who make this show, this foundation, this project possible? So I'd like to thank our sponsors. They don't ask for us to do this in this show, but we do it anyway. So I'd like to thank our sponsors, including Smooze, Vala, and Pine64. If you'd like to see more of our sponsors, you can go over to UBports.com/sponsors. Maybe you'd like to do business with someone who gives us money. That makes them certified cooler than people who don't. Including these cool people who chose our community sponsor level on Patreon. They are definitely certified cooler than anyone else. Including Travis Mackmer, Amolith, Rasklinaris, and Sensfell, Dan Trevino, Daniel Fransak, Robin Hood, Laszlo Tomas, Ian Locke, Max Fielder, A. Thiel, Casey Lambie, George Toma, Renan Mirkalev, Will Atwood, and Scott Marley. If you'd like to join them and have me mispronounce your name as well, I only take one shot at this, everyone. Only one shot. You can go over to patreon.com/UBports and join us there. Or if you'd like to find another way, we have a lot of ways you can help us out, including direct IBAN bank transactions, if your bank supports that, which may be tax deductible in some portions of somewhere in the world. Check with your local tax advisor for details. As well as PayPal, Patreon, and LibrePay. Basically, in order of least to most fees there. So, thank you everyone for helping us out. I would love to encourage you to head over to ubports.com/donate if you haven't, or if you're just getting into Ubuntu Touch. It would really help us out a lot if you did that. Thank you. All right. Ubuntu Pod Diogo says the new sound effect is lovely. I think it's lovely as well. I'm very glad that you didn't go with the focus sound effect, though. Thank you for that, Florian.
Well, that one is for the future to make your ears a little bit more alert in special situations. Like maybe we use it for the battery is empty or something like that. It would probably
it
cause
would
your
make
attention.
a good sound
right?
for that, I suppose, but it also wouldn't make much sense.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Let's take some questions this week. We take these questions from our forums over at forums.ubports.com. You can also ask your questions in live chat. We'll try to get to them here. But we're going to take the ones on our forum first. So, coming in this week, coming at us hot from LibreMax. I often see people making the negative amalgam between the level of maturity of Ubuntu Touch on the Pine phone, including the base OS, the graphical stack, and the applications, with that on different Android devices. Shouldn't it be made clearer that there are two Ubuntu Touch? Basically the Halium version, with the old and different Android kernels and drivers, and this mainline version that runs on the Pine phone. Yeah, so this is one place where the devices page really comes in just absolutely great, because the devices page can show what works and what doesn't work on a device. But for things where stuff's broken, like for trust prompts on the device, which are turned off anyway, but online accounts certainly before this update were broken. Having that kind of information would be pretty cool. The problem with it always is going to be, how do you message to people that that's the case? You know, how do you tell someone that these apps might not work here, but they do work other places? It's just a bit of a hard thing to message. And you can tell people, yes, this is the version of Ubuntu Touch that runs on mainline, but what does that mean? And that's where the problem kind of comes in. So if you have any ideas on that, that would be pretty cool. Someone suggested putting it in the specifications list on the devices page, but it's where, what does that mean? What do you link to tell people what that means and what the different bugs are? That's kind of the thing I think about when that comes up.
I have also one thing to add to that, and that is for the Pine phone specifically and everything regarding mainline, including the platform development kit image. I have been working on making sure that the support of Android type or Android like support on the Pine phone is possible, even due to the way that we handled graphical user applications before, compared to what we envision in the short-term future. With Mir client support on the Pine phone, it should provide a similar experience to that of an Android device, for sure.
Right. So the things that are broken, like trust prompts, aren't just automatically broken there anymore, which will be nice.
Right.
Yeah. And copying and pasting. Yeah. It's like, are we going to add copy paste to the feature list? That doesn't really seem right. Yeah. Something to think about. Marius, could you say next?
Where was next?
No, it's at the bottom of the list.
Okay. So from Padu, according to the Ubuntu Touch package database, package sync evolution is not part of the focal package repository anymore. What will context and calendar synchronization be on focal-based Ubuntu Touch?
I did look at this. Sync evolution is still maintained. It's just not in Ubuntu anymore. So if we're unable to replace sync evolution for any reason, it is still maintained. We'll be able to vendor it just like we do for a lot of packages. That won't be a problem. Unless there's something different to make evolution sync on a schedule, in which case we'll do that. This seems to be a rather small concern, but thank you for bringing it up.
They have made sync convolution 2.0, so I'm not sure if there's a big API change or something like that.
It uses Python 3 now. I took a look at it this morning.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Let's see. Any other questions that we see in live chat? David Wright says, I just tested my Pixel 3a SMS and MMS. Both work over LTE. Thank you,
Nice.
Alfred.
Mm.
Yes,
Praise Alfred.
nice. Praise
Glad I-
Alfred!
Praise Alfred. Everyone, praise Alfred in the chat.
The man, the legend.
The legend himself.
They spoke of this in the legends of yore. Let's see. iFixit scam. I don't know about that, but I won't be using their store very much anymore. For parts, at least. Are you planning on documenting Halium 10 porting? Asks Mint. Yes. As soon as there's more information on that. Right now it's... Yeah. Florian, take it.
I can maybe take a little bit on that one. So Halium 10 made huge progress. Also, thanks to Nikita, he is basically working 24/7 on either his day job or nightly for us, and doing stuff on Vodafone, and also doing stuff for Vodafone X actually. Hint, hint, hint. And there is also stuff that is ongoing, and I was able to get this wonderful Shift phone here, as I already showed in the last Q&A. The thing with the Halium 10 documentation is we don't want to give the impression that this is already ready for porting for everyone and then maybe used by everyone, because we have to figure out how we're going to install that thing and how it's going to do its OTAs. So the current blocker is basically, yes, that thing, if you jump through several hoops, you can install Ubuntu Touch, but then you cannot update it.
Oops.
Problem? Sorry?
Oops.
Oops. Yeah. Problem is, again, Android's partition ideas changed between 9 and 10. They thought now it would be cool to throw everything in a super partition, but they reintroduced recovery partition. That's really nice. So Halium 9 will be the only release of Halium where we have to deal with the non-existing recovery partition, unless they change their mind again. But the difference now is that our recovery doesn't start because it doesn't like AppArmor anymore. And maybe it's not on all of the devices, but there is a strong indication that something's wrong here. And so, yeah, I would say Halium 10 documentation will be there when it's ready. It's ready, but unfortunately, I don't want to promise to anyone or give this to anyone now and say follow it, because, yeah, it has still a few really, really hard, rough edges.
I thought it was really, really cool that Google decided to make LVM again.
Yes, and that's the funny thing about it. So the super partition is basically a logical volume with 3 or 4 or 5 or however partitions inside. And Linux has a tool for that, right? It's called LVM, Logical Volume Manager. You can actually take a big partition and slice it into a few smaller ones. And you can change the partition layout maybe and so on. No, Google said that's not our taste. We want to make everything ourselves. They developed their own LVM, and now everything is not working out of the box. We have to basically bring that into our rootfs or init support, whatever, so we can mount that thingy. We found already 2 packages. They are being looked at if this would be feasible and what's the effort, but it creates again a big roadblock. So if anybody wants to hack on this, PM me please. Yeah, we can need help to getting super partition really super. Yeah.
Oh boy, are you going to brand it as that? Because that's a great branding and you should keep it.
Make super partition great again. Yes, that's
No,
a great.
don't do that.
No,
no,
don't.
no,
Not that.
no,
Not
no,
that.
too
Not
far.
that.
Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Revert.
Alexander Martine says, really good information for you, Florian. He says they changed partitioning again. Recovery is optional.
Perfect. Yes.
So, I wonder, when are they going to change it again? Are we going to make a bet?
What if they use LVM next time?
Yes, we use LVM. It's like,
Yeah, we didn't want to make our own, actually.
yeah, we
like
don't want to
if-
maintain this.
It's like they felt cute, might delete later.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's all the questions I see in live chat, I think. What about y'all?
I have a question. This is
Okay.
going to be a really hard question. I know Dalton is going to hate me for this. But Android 12 when?
I don't know. When you work on it, it's fine.
It got hit back on me.
Yep. Oh no, okay, we got to get out of here. Live chat is going crazy. Nico says they're going to use LLVM because more L, more better. Let's use a compiler as our volume manager.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, let's do slang.
Anyway.
But on a serious note regarding 11 and 12, I think the thing is that I can quote Nikita on that one when he said he realizes that we are building something entirely undocumented on a barely documented Halium 9. So 10 is still in the works, while 9 is not finished. I would not suggest to start 11 or 12 before we have actually a solid base for the other ones. And then we also...
when you say that, Nikita is going to come out with Android 12 tomorrow, right?
I know, yeah. But anyways...
Was feeling cute, bought a new Pixel 6.
My lips are sealed. What's on his stack on his desk? I saw a picture lately. Anyways, it's all his free time. We're not pushing him into anything here, so let him do what he wants to do. But from perspective of our device maintenance here, we are just having a very wide range of devices now coming from Halium 5.1, the legacy 5.1 devices, Halium 7.1, 9, 10. I'm afraid that at a certain point in time, we have to think about deprecating stuff. That's the sad part about making new stuff. You have to make place for the old. You have to make place for new stuff by removing old stuff. And the garage is not infinitely fillable. So once our Shack gets a new device with Halium 12, maybe you have to throw out the old one. I think, and that's of course a discussion that we have in Q&As a lot. How long will the old devices stay around? We can say there is no end date yet, but as we always say, there will be an end date for certain things. Unfortunately, it's like that. I also don't recommend making 5.1 devices, 5.1 ports anymore, because that's actually very painful now.
One thing that we did discuss a little bit is that right now with Focal, it only supports Android 7 devices. Right. So then what are we going to do? Are we going to bring on Android 5 devices or just keep working with 7 Plus? And right now we probably will focus on 7 Plus because we have a lot of them up late, and it's easier for us to start on those devices. And we will see. We probably won't bring in 5.1 devices soonish to Focal.
Yeah, things looking more and more bleak by the day. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure that someone will come out and say, "Wait, I volunteer as tribute," but we'll see.
Yeah. So that means that if this is the case and no one steps up, that probably means that the BQ phones will.
Not the BQs.
Yeah, the BQs. Sadly, the BQs will probably be left in Xenial.
But we're still making updates for that for a little while here. So
True.
We're continuing on with the 2004 work and many other things throughout the week. So if you want to find us on a lot of other platforms, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, PixelFed, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Instagram. We also have a Telegram and Matrix News channel where you can get the news there. If you want to get more updates on what's happening in Ubuntu Touch, including, when the devices are happening, when there's new news in Focal or Xenial, when you can help us test things is always helpful.
Oh, yes.
And if you want to chat with us, you can find us on Matrix over at ubports:/matrix.org or our Telegram at UBports. For longer form content, we'd prefer if you head over to forums.ubports.com. And if you want to see if your devices is supported, you can head over to devices.ubuntu-touch.io. If your device isn't on the list, it's going to need a custom image built for it. And you can head over to the porting documentation at docs.ubports.com/porting to learn more. Pixel 6 might not be a good target for that for a little bit. But, if you got something that's like Android 9, that's pretty cool stuff. So, and a lot of cool devices came out around that time, which most of them don't have inflated used prices. We'll see how that shakes out. And we'll talk to y'all in a little bit. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks when we do this again. This has been episode 107. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.